Today's lecture we are going to study about custom exceptions in Python. So in our previous class yesterday we discussed about exception handling, like where we discussed four main blocks like try, except, else and finally block. So basically try is a piece of code where we are expecting that some kind of exception can uh, raise, so we have to handle that exception in our except block. And then there is else block. Else block will only execute when our try block executes successfully, and finally is to execute in all the cases either our program crashes, the finally block will execute itself. So basically there are multiple exceptions already built in available in Python for us, but sometimes we want custom exceptions for our application. Like we want to create some exceptions which are specific to our applications. Like if we are creating some application, and for that application there is no built-in exception available in Python. For that purpose we have to use custom exceptions to handle such type of cases. Or we want to show errors which we want to show to the user according to our need. So let me just show you through our code. So I'm going to take a variable here like age. So I'm going to take a variable age here, and inside age I am taking this as an input, and input I am taking enter your age, and then I am going to convert our input, because by default it is going to take, it is a string and we are converting it to an integer. And let's just execute it. So now we can see that we are getting this input terminal, and I'm going to take age as minus 34. So what happens there is that it is taking negative number as age, but we know that there is no any kind of negative age. Like this is universally wrong, but our program is not giving any error here, because it is saying that you are taking an input and the user is providing you an input, but you are not validating that it should raise exception for negative values. So how can we handle such type of exceptions? Because it is programmatically it is not wrong, because our syntax is right. We can basically handle such type of errors using if else. Like we want to check age is less than 0 or something. So for that we can also use if else, but in this lecture we are going to study that how can we raise such type of errors using custom exception. So I'm going to create a class here. So I'm going to create class, and then going to check the age, check age. So this is our class, and then in our class I'm going to take an exception as our argument, because exception is built-in class in our Python, so we don't have to import it. So we have to just call it and it would get imported successfully. And now I'm going to define a constructor here. So define dash init. So this is taking super arguments. So let me, it is going to take self as well as some message which we want to print when there is some kind of exception occur. So self dot message is equal to message. So now we had created a class which is inheriting, which is taking argument as the exception, and it will print the message which we want to raise at the time of exception. So here we are going to create a function of exception handling. So I am going to take a function define, so it will validate our age function. And now in this function we are going to take age as an argument here. And what we are going to do, we are going to do if age is less than 0, then what we want to do, we want to raise an exception. So I want to raise what exception we want to raise, we want to raise this check message. So I'm going to take the check message class here, and it takes some message here. So I'm going to pass the message here that the age is a negative number, and elif. So I'm going to take another condition like if age is greater than 150. So raise check age exception. So what we want to do, we want to also here want to print some message. So I'm going to print here that the age number is unrealistic. So because above 150 is an unrealistic number, and else what we want to print, and we want to print your age is valid space comma age. So now we had defined our function which is going to check the age, that if age is less than 0 it would raise this check age class which is importing, which is taking argument as exception, and it would print this message if age is less than 0, and it would print this message if age is greater than 150. So let me just execute it, and now we are going to take this piece of code in our try block. So I'm going to take here try, and now what I want to do, age is equal to integer and then input, and then I'm going to take enter your age. So here we are going to take age here, and I'm going to print age, else if any exception occur, so I'm going to take except. So this time we have our exception is check age, because we are taking argument as exception, but our exception, the exception which we are raising is check age. So we are going to call this exception here. So I'm going to call check age as e, and then now we are raised the exception. Now I'm going to print that e is equal to. So here I'm going to print the exception, the message which you want to print. This is the exception comma e. So now our exception, and here we have to pass our function name, because in this function we have to pass the argument as age. So I'm going to take function name here. So validate age is our function, and in this function we have to pass our age. So let me just run it. So we are seeing that we are having an input terminal. So I'm going to take 45, so minus 45. So it is saying that this is a negative number, and let me just execute it again, and let me just take 200. So now it is raising the exception, the age number is unrealistic, and let me just execute it again. So I'm going to take 45 here. So now it is saying that your age is valid, and it is printing our age. So basically we had seen that how can we raise our custom exceptions according to our class needs, like according to our application, what kind of exception we want to raise, we can raise them easily. So we have to do nothing, like just simply create a class, and in this we have to take argument as exception as our super class, and all the functionalities of exception class are automatically used in our class. And then we have to use the raise keyword to raise the exception, because exceptions are raised, so errors occur and exceptions are raised. So we are raising this exception, and we have to take the call by the class name, that for this class we want to raise exception, because this is our exception class which is going to handle such type of exceptions. So that's it for today. So we had just seen the basic overview of how can we create custom exception. So you can create any kind of exception according to your need, and see you in next lecture. So that's it for today. Bye.